Well, good evening, everybody. It's Chris here from the Whistle Stop Cafe in Muir, Alberta. Like usual, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm just going to assume that you can because my settings say that my microphone is working just fine. So I'm going to have to believe it. Anyhow, I had meant to do a Remembrance Day video on November 11th, and I just couldn't do it. There's a lot of other things that are muddying the waters, and I kind of found myself going over what I wanted to talk about, and I just didn't feel like it was appropriate, so I didn't do it. I will say though that we attended the Remembrance Day ceremony here in Muir, and it was nice. But I did leave there with you know, a feeling that I didn't really have any other time before about Remembrance Day. We watched a video by what was that singing group's name? Do you remember? The D-Day Damsels or something, or I can't remember, something like that. Anyway, like a 50s wartime ladies singing group, and they were singing a song about how we're going to meet those who we lost again someday. And it's very bright and joyful, and the ceremony was joyful. But I couldn't help but think, the things that we're remembering, the people that fought and served and gave their lives for us, uh, that's really important. But I think it's also important that we don't whitewash or censor what it was. Um, there's a lot of horrible things that happened, and what we do now and what we remember is always the bright, kind of joyful part of it. Aside from the moment of silence and laying the wreaths for the dead, but I think we should remember that there was a lot of really horrible sounds um, from that. And there's a lot of devastation before and after, those who we lost and those who we didn't lose, but who lost part of themselves when they came back. Anyway, that was pretty much all I wanted to say about that. And I hadn't planned on talking about that tonight either, but there we go. Anyway, yeah, we can't forget. We can't forget that stuff. So the reason why I wanted to come on so late and do a almost 11 o'clock video is because there's some things going on in Alberta right now politically. It is full of turmoil. It's a little bit exciting, and there's a lot of people with a lot of questions. I'm gonna have some guests in the next little while that are gonna try and help you through this, understand civics better, maybe get a better grasp of what's going on and what your part is and what you can do. Aside from that, we still have this issue of our Alberta government acting illegally during the period of 2020 to 2023, in which 4,812 businesses in Alberta went bankrupt in 2021 alone. And something like, I can't even remember what the number was. It's huge, but the average business in Alberta lost $186,000. That was the burden shouldered by small business in this province for actions that the government took that were illegal. So we still have that. I'm going to bring up a little graphic here that my friend Rebecca did. There you go. Alberta businesses. We must not forget what the government of Alberta did to us. Independent business owners were forced to close their doors by the government of Alberta multiple times during 2020 to 2022. Those orders have been since declared illegal by Alberta's Court of King's Bench. Local and small businesses should have never have been expected to absorb the financial burden of public health measures, and especially not illegal orders. Many small, independent, and local businesses were lost. Families lost income, jobs were cut, and businesses struggled to survive due to decisions beyond their control. And I'll just point out that there was a lot of business owners that took their lives during that period too, but the government doesn't really like to talk about that. In order for Alberta businesses to thrive, they must be compensated for the harm done. Nothing can repair all the damage done, but Rath and Company has launched a business class action to seek compensation for independent business owners. Albertans rely on small, independent, and local businesses for jobs, services, and community support. It's time to stand up and get involved. We cannot let these illegal actions go unchallenged. Your voice matters in handling the government, or in holding the government accountable. And on a side note, the reason why we can't let that go unchallenged is because if they don't get a spanking, they're going to do it again. Absolutely, they will. They need to get a licking, and they need to change some laws. Maybe revisit the proposed Alberta Bill of Rights that would have prevented these things in the first place, and remove that pesky Section 1 that was slid in there, even though there were MLAs and ministers that told me that no, that wouldn't be in there. But what do I know? I'm just a waitress. So moving on with this flyer. Take action. If you have been impacted, know someone who has, or want to ensure small, independent, and local businesses in Alberta survive and thrive, there are 3 things you can do. Number 1, act now. Write your MLA and the Premier to demand compensation and accountability for business harmed by illegal orders. Register. Join Rath and Company's small business class action to claim compensation for your losses. Spread the word. Share this information with friends, family, and business owners, and encourage them to take these same 3 steps. Now, a little math and some numbers here. Under the going out of business graphic, it reads, Alberta's economic burden. Alberta businesses continue to bear the heavy consequence of the government's illegal orders. According to the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, 72% of businesses were forced to take out on pandemic-related debt, averaging over $186,000 per business. In 2023, Alberta saw 4,810 business insolvencies, the highest annual total ever recorded, highlighting the devastating impact these unlawful orders had on our local economy. And for more information, you can go to Rath and Company's website, rathandcompany.com/business-class-action. Now, I know there's a lot of people thinking, well, that's all in the past. It's over and done with. It's not. My business, like many others, still bear a lot of debt from that period. It wasn't legal. It was unlawful what the government did to businesses. People like me and others did things to protest that, and the government just threw us in jail. And there needs to be some remedy for that. It's time the government stops stonewalling small business in this province and actually walks the walk, or talks the walk. They already did the talking. Now they did the walking. Our Premier has made comments as to how terrible these actions that the previous administration took against the people of Alberta. She has been open about how the unvaccinated, am I allowed to say that word still, were the most discriminated group of people she's seen in her lifetime. And really, I don't care what you think about that. It's true. The government has admitted that what was done was wrong, and now it's time to fix it. For those of you who have businesses and you hate me because you hate the stand that I took, I really don't give a shit what you think. This lawsuit is for you as well. So you should just, put your name down, register, and demand your compensation too, because even though we're on different sides of the political divide, what was done to you was wrong, and you deserve compensation as well. You're still a dink, but you deserve compensation. Anyway, I had a lot more I want to talk about, but it is almost 11 o'clock, and I know people need to get to bed. I certainly do. This graphic can be found on my Facebook page. And for those of you that are asking, this is a little information sheet about the class action lawsuit against the Alberta government, of which I'm one of the representative plaintiffs. And it's because the government acted illegally and harmed businesses. Actually, they harmed everybody in this province. But this is the class action lawsuit that I'm involved in. And what we're asking is that you start writing letters, send emails, um, put the pressure on your elected officials, and tell them, you know what, these businesses need to be made whole. Yeah, that's the only way it's going to work. So we need your help for that. Anywho, have a great night, and I'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. with UCP provincial board candidates for the position of president, incumbent Rob Smith and challenger Daryl Comic. There's been a lot of controversy over this position. There was a situation where the board was split on the idea of talking about Alberta sovereignty at the UCP AGM, which is coming up right away at the end of the month. If you haven't got your ticket, you should. Basically, one half of the board said we should talk about it because that's what the members want to talk about. And the other half said we shouldn't talk about it because the Premier doesn't want to talk about it. And Rob's vote was the deciding vote. And we're going to hear, the justification for that, the rationale behind it. And hopefully that will help you all make a better decision on who you're going to support this year for president of the United Conservative Party provincial board. Very important this year. This is going to set the tone for party policy and party action for the period right up to election time. So the provincial party, the provincial board, is going to be the ones who decide what candidates can run, what candidates can't. So you can imagine why it's so important that we get involved in this one. Anyhow, more on that tomorrow, 7 o'clock, with Rob Smith and Daryl Comic talking about why they want to lead the United Conservative Party provincial board into the next election. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.